In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you how to stop caring about what people think of you, because right now you are actually letting invisible judges control your life, and I was in the exact same place 5 years ago. But today, I am able to show up as my true self on social media every day. I've given keynote speeches on international stages and launched my own multiple six-figure business after using this mindset switch, which I'm about to share with you. So by the end of this video, you'll have evicted them from your mind and you will be able to actually change your life. Let me tell you why this topic matters so much to me and should to you too. The mental burden of constant social judgment is like carrying a backpack full of rocks everywhere you go. It is heavy, it is exhausting, and it stops you from running towards things that you really want in life. Now, I had to learn this the hard way. 2 years ago, I was offered an amazing opportunity to speak at a conference, but I turned it down. Why? Because I was terrified of being judged on stage. What if my outfit wasn't professional enough? What if I forgot what I had to say? What if everyone thought I was a total fraud? Looking back, that missed opportunity cost me not just financially, but also emotionally. It reinforced my own belief that I wasn't good enough back then, and I wouldn't wish that regret on anyone. So in these next 15 minutes, you are going to learn the psychology behind why we care so much about others' opinions, how to identify if you are caring too much. Spoiler alert, you probably are. 3 practical exercises you can do today to start caring less, how to reframe your relationship with external validation, and the benefits that come when you finally free yourself from this crippling fear of others' opinion. First, let's understand why we are like this in the first place. And no, it is not just because you are too sensitive. There's actually a science behind it. So from an evolutionary standpoint, we are hardwired to seek social approval. Thousands of years ago, being rejected from your tribe wasn't just emotionally painful, it was a death sentence. If you were kicked out of your community, you'd have to fend for yourself against predators, harsh weather, and starvation. So that fear of judgment, it's literally built into your survival instincts. Your brain is trying to protect you by making you hyper aware of others' reactions. The problem is we are no longer living in caves, but our brains just haven't caught up yet. Then there's what psychologists call the spotlight effect. This is our tendency to overestimate how much others notice us. My friend, I promise you, people are not paying as much attention to you as you might think. That tiny pimple that you were obsessing over, that slight tremor in your voice during a presentation, that awkward thing that you said at dinner, nobody remembers any of it because they have their own spotlight effects to care about in their brains. And here's where it gets serious. This constant worry about others' opinions has a real impact on your mental health and decision making. It triggers anxiety, prevents you from taking risks, and worst of all, it keeps you from becoming who you are meant to be. So like, do you constantly seek validation for making decisions, like texting your 3 closest friends about whether you should apply for that job, or asking 5 different people in your life if your outfit looks okay before heading to a party? Do you avoid taking risks due to fear of judgment? Maybe you've wanted to start that YouTube channel for years now, but you're worried what your college classmates might think if they stumble across it. And here's a big one. Are you changing your authentic self to fit in? Maybe you laugh at jokes that you don't find funny, or you hold back your real opinions, or you dress in a way that doesn't actually feel like you. If you are nodding along to any of these, then yes, you are letting others' opinions control your life. But don't worry, I am about to show you how to change all of that. Okay, 3 time is over. Let's get into the practical stuff. These are exercises I personally use to overcome my own fear of judgment, and I still use them whenever I feel that old anxious mindset creeping back in. Okay, exercise 1 is what I call the whose opinion matters list. Take out your phone or grab a piece of paper right now. I want you to write down the names of the people whose opinions truly matter to you. And I mean truly matter. Not people you're trying to impress, not your judgy cousin, not your high school classmates on Facebook. For the most part, this list should be very short. Maybe your parents, your partner, a mentor, and a couple of close friends. If your list has more than 10 people on it, you're probably including people whose opinions shouldn't have any power over you. Now, whenever you catch yourself worrying about judgment, ask yourself, is this person on my list? If not, then their opinion doesn't get a vote in your life at all. Okay, exercise 2 is what I call the rejection challenge. This one is fun but scary. For the next week, I want you to intentionally do one small thing each day that risks rejection or judgment. Nothing harmful or illegal, obviously, but something that pushes you past your comfort zone. Maybe that's posting a picture of yourself without any filters, or sharing an unpopular opinion in a work meeting. Maybe it's wearing that bold outfit that you love, but you've been too scared to rock it in public. The point is to gradually desensitize yourself to the fear of judgment judgment over time. You'll quickly realize that 1, most people don't even notice. 2, the world doesn't end when someone does judge you. And 3, you are stronger than you think. And exercise 3 is what I call the future self visualization exercise. Close your eyes. Okay, well, maybe after this video. And imagine yourself 5 years from now. If you continue to let others' opinions control your choices, where will you be? What opportunities will you have missed? How will you feel about all of that? Now, imagine yourself 5 years from now if you start living authentically, taking risks, and pursuing what truly lights you up, regardless of judgment. What might be possible, and how would that version of you feel instead? That gap between these two versions is the cost of caring about what others think, and it's just too high of a price to pay. Now, let's talk about how to reframe your entire relationship with external validation, because without this mindset shift, you will remain a prisoner to the opinions of others forever. First, you need to develop internal validation systems. This means learning to trust yourself and your own judgment. After making a decision, instead of immediately seeking outside approval, ask yourself first, am I proud of this choice? Does it align with my values? Does it serve my goals? Your own approval needs to become more important than anyone else's. Second, set healthy boundaries with feedback. Not all opinions are created equal, and you get to decide whose input you actually want in your life. When someone offers unsolicited criticism, you can practice saying, thanks for sharing your perspective, and then move on without internalizing it. And when that social anxiety hits, because it will, practice mindfulness. Notice that feeling without any judgment. Remind yourself that it's just your primitive brain trying to protect you, and then consciously choose whether to listen or not. My favorite mindfulness tactic is the observer method. When you feel that fear of judgment, imagine yourself floating above the situation, observing both yourself and the other person. From that perspective, how important is their opinion really? Like, how will this matter in a week, a year, 5 years from now? Let me tell you, what's waiting for you on the other side of doing all this intentional internal work will be so worth it. When you stop caring so much about judgment, you start making decisions that are truly aligned with your values, not somebody else's. And there's a deep satisfaction that comes from living authentically that no amount of external validation can match. Your creativity and innovation will explode because you're no longer filtering your ideas through the lens of like, but what will people think? Some of the most successful businesses, art, movements through history came from people who were just willing to be judged. And perhaps most importantly, your relationships will become so much more meaningful. Like, when you show up as your real self, you end up attracting people who are genuinely appreciative of who you are, not who you're pretending to be. And those connections are much deeper, more supportive, and way more fulfilling, I promise you. So here's what I am asking of you today. Commit to a 15-minute daily practice for the next week of those 3 exercises I recommended. 5 minutes for one of the exercises, 5 minutes of journaling about what comes up for you, and 5 minutes of just visualizing where you'd be if you weren't burdened by others' opinions. Just 15 minutes a day. That's all I'm asking, because that's all it takes to start rewiring these deeply ingrained patterns in our brain. And let me leave you with this final thought. The freedom that comes from caring less about judgment isn't selfishness, it is called self-respect instead. It's recognizing that your one wild and precious life is just way too short to live it according to someone else's expectations. So what would you do if you weren't afraid of being judged? Start there, start now. If this video helped you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this, and leave a comment below with one thing that you are going to do this week that you've been avoiding because of fear of judgment. I'll be reading every comment, I swear, and cheering you on. Until next time, remember, your life begins where your fear of judgment ends.